Hey, hey, hey. Angry Rabbit here. What's up, Doc? Just kidding. Anyhow, this is a story about an officer involved shooting. Took place in 2006 in Arkansas. Okay? The killing of Joseph Erin Hamley. On March 2006, Joseph Erin Hamley, born February 3rd, 1985, deceased on March 7th, 2006. He was an unarmed white man, and I am going to put that in there because, it seems to be a detail that they include if it's the opposite. So we'll just include the details here. He was fatally shot by Arkansas State Trooper Larry P. Norman, whom I have done, some kind of research trying to find out, what he's up to these days. But according to what I read, it affected him deeply. He got, you know, out of the police business, and I don't know, who knows. So we'll get into that. Of West Fork, Arkansas. At 7 a.m. on March 7th, 2006, Hamley, who had cerebral palsy, was walking alone on U.S. Route 412, just outside the community of Tontatown along the Benton, Washington County line, when several Washington County deputies surrounded him. Imagine how scary that must have been. His mother had reported him missing, by the way. 4 minutes later, before being identified and while lying on the ground, I do like to always say my how I feel about a certain case, and show my respect by saying the name Tony Timpa. Tony Timpa, say his name. Tony Timpa. Okay. And Joseph Erin Hamley, say his name. Just outside they surrounded him. 4 minutes later, before being identified, and while lying on the ground, a shotgun slug fired by Norman, an Arkansas state trooper, breaking police protocol and procedure, killed him. The fatal shooting was recorded from multiple vantage points on dashboard cams of the various police cruisers that were present, and I will be including the link to that. Um, the thing was they blamed it on a mistaken identity, okay, of Adam Lee Ledford. After the negligent homicide, the Washington County Sheriff's Department and Arkansas State Police stated they believed the mentally disabled Joseph Erin Hamley to be Adam Lee Ledford, whom they described as an escaped convict. But the thing is that the guy who shot him had his radio up so loud it was shown on his, dash cam. Not the police radio, his AM FM radio. So loud that he wouldn't have been able to hear a description of anything. And he was also there less than a minute. Okay. Uh, Joseph Aaron Hamley, as an escaped convict, they're describing this 18-year-old kid, okay, Adam Lee Ledford, where there's a whole nother story behind that. But if I get, off the track where I'm going with this, he had escaped, but we'll go into that. Joseph Aaron Hamley stood 5'10" and weighed 175 pounds. Ledford weighed 160 pounds and was 5'6". Okay. He was a Michigan teenager who ran away from a court-sponsored boot camp. Okay. That don't sound great. Where he was sentenced for vandalizing school buses and then struggling with an officer while resisting arrest. Now, I haven't been able to find much. Now, I find it really strange that they've got this. I'm thinking maybe that white gauze there is maybe where he was shot. I mean, I don't know. I'd really love it if I could find more on this guy, but I cannot. I cannot. I think he might be out, released in October 23. Um, as I said, can't find much. An unarmed Ledford another white man, unarmed, was later shot in the throat by Springdale police. Later shot in the throat. Shot in the throat? Like, are you kidding me right now? What's on the screen now is some dash cam footage. Um, he was shot in the throat by Springdale police after they'd already killed the other guy and arrested in a parking lot of Walmart on the evening of Joseph Erin Hamley's shooting death. Director of Arkansas State Police, Colonel Steve Dozier, stated at a press conference in Springdale, Arkansas on March 10, 2006. This is odd to me. Ledford had a .22 caliber rifle when he was stopped. When was he stopped? I see, I can't find anything like that. Ledford had a... Now, where did he get the vehicle from? Ledford had abandoned the weapon in a vehicle. A vehicle? Well, what vehicle? And it was not on his person when he was shot by Springdale police after walking through a Walmart. He is now serving 30 years in an Arkansas state prison. Wow. The Washington County deputies and Arkansas state troopers present at the scene remained silent concerning the shooting for the first 3 days. Wow, I wonder if they told the mother. Until the head of Arkansas State Police, Steve Dozier, traveled to Springdale, Arkansas on March 10, 2006 to give a rare, why would it be rare, press conference. Dozier stated that he wanted to reassure the public that a thorough investigation was underway into the shooting that left a 21-year-old disabled man dead. What you're seeing is the officer that shot him, Larry Norman, on the screen. The director of the Arkansas State Police addressed the media on the fatal police shooting with the members of the Joseph Erin Hamley family in attendance. Colonel Steve Dozier stated that the Arkansas State Trooper Larry Norman likely had memories of a recent police killing when he shot and killed a mentally handicapped man mistaken for a Michigan jail escapee known to be in the area. That's really interesting. That's something I am going to take a look at right there. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So he had a previous history of this? Wow, unreal. That is crazy. I'm definitely going to look more into that. Dozier said that officers likely remembered Gasville policeman Jim Sell, who was shot and killed February 4th by a teenager. This one I'm also going to look into. Jacob D. Robita, wanted in a hatchet and gun attack on a Massachusetts gay bar. That is something I'm going to definitely look into further as well. We also feel like in the back of these officers' minds was the Mountain Home incident. Okay, that I'm going to look into further as well. Dozier went on to say that Hamley was built like and looked like Ledford, which one's 5'6", one's 5'10", I don't know. He stated that the officers ordered Hamley to lie down, and Hamley instead responded by putting his hands in his pockets and taking them out. Colonel Steve Dozier said Hamley began moving in a manner that these officers at that point interpreted as movement toward a weapon that they thought was likely concealed in his waist. He had cerebral palsy. Wow. When Joseph Erin Hamley's family started to question concerning the length of time Larry Norman had been at the scene and if Joseph was asked his identity, officers at the news conference deflected the questions. Wow, that's a surprise. Saying there would be a more appropriate time to discuss that matter with the Hamley family. Wow. Head of the Arkansas State Police, Colonel Steve Dozier, resigned at the end of May 2007, stating he was stepping down to go work as vice president of corporate services for Walmart stores. Isn't that odd? Because the other guy, Ledford, was shot in the Springdale Walmart parking lot there. That is just strange to me. Wow. He retired 1 month before the final sentencing of the Arkansas State Trooper Larry Norman for negligent, sorry, my bad, homicide, and the release of the Benton County Special Grand Jury report with the police cruiser dash cam videos. That is crazy. Unbelievable. I'm seeing a discrepancy here on their dash cam footage. That's very strange. Really weird. The Arkansas State Police and Washington County Sheriff Departments refused to release the dashcam videos of the incident until after Arkansas State Trooper Larry Norman was sentenced. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. How's that possible? Mm. Wow. Isn't that like, what do they call it when, you're like, hindering the, case? Solving a crime or something, like you're hindering it. Wow, that's crazy. The trial date was postponed twice before Norman finally pled guilty. When released, the video recordings from inside Norman's cruiser clearly show he sped to the site, sometimes going over 100 miles per hour, with his FM radio blasting so loud that he could not hear his police radio. By the time Norman arrived at the scene, Arkansas State Trooper Short and 4 Washington County Sheriff's deputies had surrounded Hamley. They had their guns drawn. Wow, he must have been so scared. And were taking defensive positions behind their cars. Wow, unreal. One officer mentioned that if he could get close enough to Hamley, he would use his taser stun gun. Instead of blocking traffic as he was instructed to do, Arkansas State Trooper Larry Norman did a U turn, pulled up about 25 yards from the young man, and pulled out his shotgun. Wow, that is just terrible. Just terrible. What really kills me is that he did lie down as instructed, but he laid on his back instead of his abdomen. So they shot him. If you'd like to hear what happens pertaining to this officer and the justice or no justice that was served, please tune in to part 2. Like and subscribe, The Angry Rabbit.